My number 3 film of 2009 is Michael Haneke's The White Ribbon, Das weiße Band.
Ich denke doch, dass du es weißt.
It's the winner of the Palme d'Or at Cannes. It takes place in 1913 in a rural village in Germany, and it's about strange things happening to the children of the village, or perhaps perpetrated by the children of the village.
If you count the years back, the children that are in the film are basically the children that people then grow up to be the Nazis, and that essentially is what Haneke is making a film about.
I heard a sound.
At number 3 for me is Lars von Trier's Antichrist, which is a film that most people I think seem to hate.
But a pretentious, pompous, art house, navel-gazing. I thought it was disgusting, horrible, provocative in all the wrong ways.
And it got famously booed at the Cannes Film Festival this year. This is basically a master director perhaps having a nervous breakdown on camera and pushing himself and his actors and his audience to the limit and maybe beyond. It's Charlotte Gainsbourg and Willem Dafoe going through all manner of hell at their cabin in the woods.
You know that as well as I do. That's what fear is. Your thoughts distort reality. Not the other way around.
It's a film that dares to go for it, really, and to risk being risible, and at times it is risible. But it's also utterly compelling and fascinating, and almost less a film than a kind of voodoo incantation.
In our village was a signpost, hand-painted, made of wood. For years it gave directions, as on the bank it stood.
My number 3 film of 2009 is a very obscure, not very widely seen British documentary called Sleep Furiously.
So now I look forward to the day it's old and rusted and replaced with a wooden one. At least it could be trusted.
It really is a sort of fantastically poetic exercise in cinema, the like of which doesn't really come along very often. It's all about the changing of the seasons and the slow decay of this small farming community.
My number 2 film of 2009 is a French drama by Claire Denis called 35 Shots of Rum. And this is a French drama, but it's the France that we rarely see on cinema. It's not chic metropolitan Paris, and it's not the rural splendour of the provinces. It's a kind of hinterland.
Moi aussi je pars. On peut très bien faire commune.
Ça arrive à rien tout ça. Pense un peu à toi.
And it's a film full of mystery. It's perhaps a little too kind of art house and esoteric for a lot of tastes, but it introduces you to these people, but you never really know them. They're full of mystery, they're full of dark pockets, and they're like your own family by the end of the film. You know them back to front, and yet they always have the capacity to surprise you. It's a warm, humane and honest film, and one of the great films of the year.
My number 2 film of the year is a documentary called Soul Power. It was disinterred this year after 35 years of lying in a vault. It is about the soul concert that surrounded the 1974 Rumble in the Jungle in Kinshasa, Zaire, a concert that never really took place in the eyes of the world and was hidden in canisters until now, when director Jeffrey Levy-Hint has unearthed it and put together footage, 100 hours of footage, by legendary cinematographers such as the Maysles brothers, who've captured footage of James Brown, Bill Withers, Celia Cruz, Miriam Makeba, all performing their utmost brilliance in front of a huge crowd of baying Zairians.
My number 1 film of 2009 is the Swedish vampire film Let the Right One In by Thomas Alfredson. This is a vampire film, but this is not Twilight. This is a coming-of-age story in which the vampire aspect is almost in parallel to the other people on this housing estate, the alcoholics. It's a film about being disenfranchised, being marginalised, living your life in the shadows. And it's also a love story, I think, at heart. I think it's a story about love and the burdens of love, and how when we take on somebody else's life, we also take on their baggage. It's full of strangeness and weirdness and sadness, and it's a beautiful, beautiful film.
We've known the Abelmans for 15 years,
Yes,
Larry.
but you said we hadn't done anything.
I haven't done anything. This is not some flashy fling, Larry. This is not about whoopsie-doopsie.
My number 1 film for 2009 is the Coen brothers' A Serious Man. This is, I think, one of the finest films ever made about religion, particularly about Judaism. It is the most Jewish film ever made. It makes Yentl look like the Passion of the Christ.
When I saw A Serious Man at the London Film Festival, it just absolutely knocked me out. This is a great film by great filmmakers. They are, on sort of some level, making a film about their own, their own past, their own background, their own growing up.
The rabbi is busy.
He didn't look busy.
He's thinking.
I think it's warm, I think it's tender, I think it's absolutely brilliant in its kind of rigid philosophy, and I think its examination of what it takes to be a real man in this world is unsurpassed. I think it's brilliant.
Secret test?
No.
Hush.
No, that's just not workable. I'm afraid we'll just have to bite the bullet on this thing, Clive. And
Very troubling. Very troubling.